I raised her for 18 years. Then she wanted her real dad to walk her down the aisle. The moment she called him her real father, I knew I'd been replaced. I met Emma Martinez when she was 6 years old. Her mother, Jennifer Martinez, and I had been dating for about 8 months when she finally introduced me to her daughter. We met at a park in Pasadena on a Saturday afternoon in the spring. Emma was on the swings, pigtails flying, missing her 2 front teeth. She was wearing a purple dress with butterflies on it. She looked at me with those big brown eyes and said, "Are you my mom's boyfriend?" "I am," I told her. "Are you going to leave like my dad did?" Jennifer's face went pale. "Emma, that's not." "No," I said, kneeling down to her level on the wood chips. "I'm not going anywhere. I kept that promise for 18 years. I wish I could say she kept hers." Emma's biological father, I'll call him David Martinez because that's his name and I don't care about protecting him anymore, had left when she was 3. Just walked out one day, said he wasn't ready to be a father, wasn't ready for the responsibility, needed to find himself. He'd send birthday cards occasionally, always a few days late. Made promises about visits that never happened. Called once or twice a year when guilt got the better of him, usually around Christmas or Emma's birthday. But he was never there. Not for the important things. Not for anything that mattered. Jennifer and I got married when Emma was 7. It was a small ceremony in Jennifer's parents' backyard. Emma was the flower girl. She took it very seriously, carefully dropping rose petals with such concentration that everyone in the audience smiled. After the ceremony, she came up to me and said, "Does this mean I can call you Dad now?" I looked at Jennifer. She had tears in her eyes and nodded. "If you want to," I said. "I want to," Emma said. Then she hugged me so tight I thought my ribs might crack. I didn't adopt Emma legally because David wouldn't give up his parental rights. Said he might want to be involved someday, but in every way that mattered, I was her father. My name went on the emergency contact forms at school. I was the one they called when she got sick. I was the one listed as father on all her records, with Jennifer's blessing and David's absence. I was the one who made her breakfast before school every morning. Pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse when she was little. Toast with peanut butter when she got older and decided Disney was for babies. I was the one who packed her lunch, always including a note with a bad dad joke that she pretended to hate, but I noticed she kept in a shoebox in her closet. I was the one who taught her to ride a bike, running alongside her in our cul-de-sac until my lungs burned and my legs ached. She must have fallen 20 times that first day, skinning her knees, getting frustrated, wanting to quit. But I kept encouraging her. "One more try, Emma. You almost had it that time." When she finally rode all the way to the stop sign without falling, she screamed with joy and I cried. Actually cried. Jennifer teased me about it for months. I was the one who stayed up late helping with science projects that were inevitably started the night before they were due. Building volcanoes out of papier-mâché. Creating solar system models with styrofoam balls. Constructing a working model of the water cycle with clear plastic containers and food coloring. I barely understood half of it myself, but I was there, glue gun in hand, helping her learn. I was there for every piano recital, sitting in uncomfortable folding chairs in overheated auditoriums, watching her play Fur Elise with trembling hands. I was there for every soccer game, standing on the sidelines in the rain, cheering when she scored and consoling her when her team lost. I was there for every parent-teacher conference, taking notes, asking questions, making sure she had everything she needed to succeed. When she got her first period at 12 and was too embarrassed to tell Jennifer, she came to me. I was in my home office working on engineering blueprints when she knocked on the door, tears streaming down her face, convinced she was dying. I called Jennifer in, and together we explained what was happening. Later that night, I drove to CVS at 11 p.m. to buy heating pads and chocolate ice cream because Emma said her stomach hurt, and that's what girls in movies ate when they had cramps. When she got her heart broken at 16 by a boy named Marcus who decided he'd rather date her best friend, she cried on my shoulder for 2 hours. I let her. I didn't try to fix it or tell her it would be okay or that there were plenty of fish in the sea. I just held her while she cried and told her that Marcus was an idiot and that anyone who didn't see how amazing she was didn't deserve her. When she was applying to colleges her senior year, I helped her write her essays. She wanted to write about overcoming adversity, but wasn't sure what her story was. I suggested she write about growing up with an absent father and finding family in unexpected places. She did. She got into UCLA with a partial scholarship. When the acceptance letter came, I cried harder than she did. Jennifer found us both sobbing in the kitchen, hugging each other. Her acceptance letter crumpled between us. I paid for everything. Private school tuition at St. Catherine's because the public schools in our area weren't great and Emma deserved the best education we could give her. $12,000 a year. I picked up overtime shifts at the engineering firm to make it work. Braces when she was 13 because her teeth were crowded and the orthodontist said they'd get worse if we didn't intervene. $5,000 over 2 years. Piano lessons every Tuesday afternoon for 8 years. Soccer club fees, tournament travel expenses, team uniforms. Summer camps in middle school, space camp in Alabama 1 year, theater camp in San Diego another year, marine biology camp in Monterey when she was 15. Her first car for her 17th birthday, a used Honda Civic with 85,000 miles that I spent weeks researching, test driving, and negotiating to get the best deal. I taught her to drive in that car, white-knuckling it through parking lots and quiet residential streets until she was confident enough for the freeway. College tuition at UCLA. Room and board in the dorms freshman year. Then an apartment near campus she shared with 3 roommates. Books that cost more than I thought books could possibly cost. The study abroad program in Spain her junior year because she'd always wanted to see Europe and the program counted toward her Spanish minor. $8,000 for 1 semester, but I made it work because she'd dreamed about it since she was 14. Every single thing. Jennifer contributed what she could. She worked as a nurse, and her income helped, but I was the primary breadwinner. I worked 60-hour weeks as a civil engineer to make sure Emma had everything she needed. Everything David should have provided but didn't. And I never held it over her head. Never once said, "I'm not your real father, but I'm paying for everything." Never made her feel like she owed me or like my love came with conditions. She was my daughter. That's what fathers do. You sacrifice for your kids because you love them, not because you expect something in return. Emma graduated from UCLA with a degree in marketing and a 3.7 GPA. I was so proud I thought I might burst. We all drove down for the ceremony. Me, Jennifer, Jennifer's parents, my parents. Emma walked across that stage, accepted her diploma, moved her tassel from right to left, and the first thing she did after the ceremony was run over and hug me. "I did it, Dad," she said. "You did it." I agreed, crying again because apparently I'm incapable of getting through Emma's major life moments without crying. She got a good job at a marketing agency in Los Angeles. Started at $45,000 a year, which wasn't great for LA, but was a solid entry-level position. She worked hard, got promoted within a year, moved to a better apartment. She was building a life. Then she met Tyler Brooks at a work conference. Tyler was 26, worked in finance at a wealth management firm, drove a Tesla, wore expensive suits. Nice enough guy when I met him. Polite. Good handshake. Looked me in the eye when we talked. Seemed to treat Emma well, which was all I really cared about. They dated for 2 years. Tyler proposed on a beach in Malibu at sunset with a diamond ring that probably cost more than my first car. Very romantic. Very Instagram-worthy. Emma called me first before anyone else, before she even posted about it online. "Dad," she said. She'd called me Dad since she was 8, and I'd never gotten tired of hearing it. Tyler proposed. I said yes. "I'm getting married." I cried on the phone. Again, Jennifer cried. We drove down to LA that weekend to celebrate. Met Tyler's parents, Robert and Catherine Brooks, old money from Connecticut, very polished, very proper. They were pleasant enough, though I could tell they weren't sure what to make of me. The Chinese-American stepdad who wore Costco jeans and drove a 5-year-old Toyota. We looked at venues. Emma wanted something elegant, but not too formal. We visited 6 different places before she fell in love with a historic mansion in Pasadena with gardens and a fountain and space for 150 guests. The venue cost $12,000 just for the rental. We talked about dates. Emma wanted a fall wedding. October, when the weather was perfect and the light was golden. We discussed budgets. Tyler's parents offered to pay for the rehearsal dinner. Jennifer's parents offered to pay for the flowers. I said I'd pay for the wedding itself. Dad, you don't have to do that, Emma said. That's too much. It's your wedding, I said. I've been saving for this since you were in high school. It's what I want to do. It's what fathers do. She hugged me so tight. Thank you, Dad. I love you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're the best father anyone could ask for. I should have known better than to trust that feeling of security. I should have known David Martinez would come back into the picture eventually. He always did when it benefited him, when there was something in it for him, when showing up made him look good. It happened 2 months before the wedding. Emma called me on a Wednesday evening in August. I was in my home office reviewing blueprints for a new commercial building project. She sounded nervous, her voice higher than usual. Dad, can we talk about something? Of course. What's up? So, David reached out to me. I felt my stomach drop. David, not my father, not even my dad. David, the name she used when she was being clinical about his existence, when she was distancing herself from him. Okay, I said carefully, setting down my pencil. He said he saw my engagement announcement on Facebook. He congratulated me. He asked if he could see me. He said he's been thinking about me a lot lately and wants to be part of my life again. What did you say? I said yes. We met for coffee yesterday, at that place near my apartment. Yesterday, she'd already seen him and was just now telling me. How did it go? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. It was good. Weird, but good. It looks different. Older, obviously. He's remarried. He has a stepdaughter now, actually. Her name is Olivia. She's 15. He owns some tech company, doing really well apparently. He drives a Porsche. He seemed genuinely sorry for not being around. He said he was young and stupid when he left, that he wasn't ready to be a father, that he's regretted it every day since. I felt like I was listening to this conversation from underwater. Everything sounded distant and muffled, like my ears were stuffed with cotton. And what do you want? I asked. I don't know. I mean, he's my biological father. Maybe this is a chance to have a real relationship with him. Tyler thinks I should give him a chance. He says everyone deserves a second chance, that forgiveness is important, that I might regret it if I don't at least try. Tyler, who'd known Emma for 2 years and thought he understood her history, thought he understood the complexity of a relationship with an absent parent. Emma, he's had 18 years of chances. 18 years of birthdays and Christmases and graduations. He chose not to take them. I know, Dad, but people change. He seems different now. He seems like he really wants to make up for lost time. People change. The eternal excuse for bad behavior. The justification for giving someone who hurt you another opportunity to hurt you again. We talked for another 20 minutes. I tried to be supportive, tried to hide the growing sense of dread in my chest, the feeling that something precious was slipping away from me. When we hung up, Jennifer asked what was wrong. She was reading in bed, glasses perched on her nose. David's back, I said. She closed her book. Oh no was right. Over the next few weeks, Emma and David met several more times. Coffee on Tuesdays, lunch on Saturdays, dinner with his new wife, whose name was apparently Stephanie and who worked in real estate. Emma told me about these meetings and our weekly phone calls, her voice getting progressively more excited. David was charming, she said. He was successful. He was attentive. He asked about her life, her job, her wedding plans. He seemed genuinely interested in getting to know her. He was love-bombing her, I realized, giving her all the attention she'd craved as a child, playing the role of doting father now that it was easy, now that all the hard work was done, now that she was an adult who didn't need to be raised or taught or supported through the difficult years. I wanted to warn her. Wanted to tell her that David was good at showing up when it was convenient and disappearing when it wasn't. But I didn't. I tried to be supportive. Tried to be the bigger person. Tried not to let my hurt and fear show. Then came the phone call that changed everything. Dad, I need to talk to you about something. About the wedding. I was in my home office. Jennifer was making dinner downstairs. I could smell garlic and onion sautéing. It was a Thursday evening in late August, 6 weeks before the wedding. What about the wedding? I asked, though something in her tone made my chest tighten. I've been thinking about the ceremony, about who walks me down the aisle. My heart stopped. I always assumed it would be you, she continued, her words coming fast like she'd rehearsed this. And I want you there, obviously. But David asked if he could do it. And I've been thinking, he's my biological father. This could be his chance to finally be there for something important. Maybe this could be a new beginning for us. Maybe this could help us build a real relationship. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The room felt like it was closing in. Dad, are you there? You want David to walk you down the aisle. I want us both to do it, she said quickly. You on one side, him on the other. Both of my fathers giving me away. I've seen it done before. It will be a way to honor both of you. Both of your fathers. As if we were equivalent. As if 18 years of showing up meant the same as 18 years of absence. As if midnight emergency room visits and science projects and college tuition could be balanced out by a few coffee dates and a Porsche. No, I said. Dad, no, I'm not sharing that moment with a man who abandoned you, who broke your heart over and over, who wasn't there for a single important moment in your life until now, when it's easy and fun and gets him attention and makes him feel like a good person. That's not fair. He's trying. It's not fair? Emma, I was there when you cried yourself to sleep because he forgot your birthday. Again, I was there when you were 12 and made that Father's Day card that sat on the kitchen table for a week because you didn't know if you should send it to him or give it to me. I was there for everything. Every scraped knee, every bad dream, every disappointment, every triumph. And now you want to put him on equal footing with me. He's my father, she said, and I heard the tears in her voice. Biologically, he's my father. I just want one moment with him. One memory where my real dad was there for me. Real dad. The words hit me like a physical blow, like someone had punched me in the chest and knocked all the air from my lungs. Real dad. After 18 years, after thousands of moments, after all the sacrifices and the love and the presence, I still wasn't real. I was the substitute, the stand-in, the understudy waiting for the real actor to show up. Then let him walk you down the aisle, I said, my voice cold. Alone. Dad, don't be like this. I'm not being like anything. You're making a choice. So make it. But you don't get both. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Either I'm your father and I walk you down the aisle, or he is and he does. Choose. She was crying now. Why are you making me choose? Why can't you just be happy for me? Why can't you understand that I need this? I'm not making you choose. You already chose when you called him your real dad. I'm just accepting your choice. Can I talk to Mom? I handed the phone to Jennifer, who'd been standing in the doorway. She must have heard everything. I walked out to the backyard and sat on the patio in the dark, staring at nothing. Jennifer came out 20 minutes later. She sat down next to me on the bench we'd bought at a garage sale when Emma was 10. She wants David to walk her, Jennifer said quietly. Of course she did. And you're okay with this? I asked. Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. I think she needs closure with him. I think this might help her heal from the abandonment issues she's dealt with her whole life. Help her heal? She's choosing him over me, Jennifer. The man who abandoned her over the man who raised her. That's not healing. That's betrayal. You're being dramatic. Am I? Tell me, if our roles were reversed, if your mother had abandoned you and some other woman raised you, and then your mother showed up at your wedding wanting to be honored, wanting to take credit, would you be okay with that? She was quiet. I didn't think so, I said. We went to bed angry that night. We stayed angry. Emma called several more times over the next few days, trying to explain her decision, trying to make me understand. Jennifer kept telling me to be the bigger person and think about Emma's feelings. Nobody seemed to care about my feelings. Nobody seemed to think that maybe I had a right to be hurt. Nobody seemed to understand that this wasn't about ego or pride. This was about value. This was about being shown that 18 years of love and sacrifice could be erased for a man who showed up at the last minute with a Porsche and empty promises. 2 weeks before the wedding, I made my decision. I called Emma on a Sunday afternoon. "I'm not coming to the wedding. Dad, please." And "I'm withdrawing my financial support." Silence. Complete silence. I could hear her breathing on the other end. "What?" "You heard me. I've paid $45,000 toward this wedding so far. Venue deposit of $12,000. Catering deposit of $15,000. Photography package of $8,000. Your dress at $5,000. Flowers, invitations, everything else. I'm done. You want David to walk you down the aisle? He can pay for the privilege. You can't do that. Everything's already booked. The vendors need to be paid. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Then David better have a good credit card. I'm sure his tech company is doing well. I'm sure he can afford it. He drives a Porsche, right? He should be able to handle a $45,000 wedding. This is so petty. You're ruining my wedding because your feelings are hurt." "I'm not ruining anything. I'm just not funding a ceremony where I'm not wanted, where I'm replaced by a man who did nothing. You made your choice, Emma. Now live with it." She started crying. "I can't believe you're doing this. After everything we've been through, after all the years, I thought you loved me." "I did love you. I do love you. But love requires respect, Emma. And you've shown me that you don't respect what I've done for you. You don't respect the sacrifices I made. You don't respect the fact that I was there when it mattered. So no, I'm not paying for a wedding where I'm treated like a consolation prize, where I'm told I'm not real." I hung up. Jennifer was furious. She came storming into my office 5 minutes later. "That's our daughter." "She's not my daughter. She made that very clear. She has a real dad now. He can handle it." "You're being cruel." "I'm being honest. And I'm done, Jennifer. I'm done being taken for granted. I'm done sacrificing everything and getting nothing in return but being replaced. It's one day, one moment. Why can't you just swallow your pride and be there for her?" Because it's not one moment. It's 18 years of moments. And she's erasing all of them for a man who was never there. If you can't see why that's wrong, then we have bigger problems. We did have bigger problems. Problems that had apparently been there all along, but I've been too busy raising someone else's daughter to notice. Problems like the fact that Jennifer had never really seen me as Emma's father, just as her husband who was helping raise her daughter. Problems like the fact that Jennifer thought biology mattered more than presence. I filed for divorce 3 days later, walked into a family law attorney's office on a Wednesday afternoon, and started the process of ending my marriage. Jennifer was shocked. Emma was shocked when Jennifer told her. Everyone was shocked. How could I do this? How could I abandon them? How could I be so heartless? Heartless. That's what Jennifer's sister called me at the family gathering I wasn't invited to, but heard about anyway through Jennifer's mother. Heartless for walking away from an 18-year relationship because of one disagreement. One disagreement. That's what they called it. As if this was about where to seat the in-laws or what color the napkin should be. This was about value. This was about being shown, clearly and definitively, that I was replaceable. That blood mattered more than presence. That genetics trumped 18 years of love and sacrifice. The wedding happened on schedule. October 15th. I wasn't there. I was sitting in my new apartment, a small 2-bedroom I'd rented immediately after filing for divorce, watching baseball and trying not to think about what was happening. I heard later from a mutual friend, one of Jennifer's cousins who stayed in touch with me, that David did walk Emma down the aisle, that he wore an expensive suit and cried tears that the photographer captured beautifully, that he gave a speech at the reception about being so proud of the woman she'd become, as if he had anything to do with it, that he cried during the father-daughter dance, that Emma looked happy, that it was a beautiful ceremony despite the downgraded venue. I also heard that he paid for exactly nothing, that Jennifer had to scramble to cover the costs I'd withdrawn, that they'd had to downgrade from the historic mansion to a smaller garden venue, that they'd had to cut the guest list from 150 to 90, that they'd had to eliminate the open bar and go with wine and beer only, that Emma's dress had to be altered at a cheaper bridal shop because they couldn't afford the alterations at the original place, that the photography package was downgraded from all-day coverage to ceremony and reception only. I didn't feel good about that, but I didn't feel bad either. They made their choice. They lived with the consequences. 3 months after the wedding, Emma reached out, called me, left a voicemail. Her voice was small, hesitant. "Dad, it's Emma. Can we talk? Please." Then another voicemail the next day. Then another. Then texts. Then emails. She showed up at my apartment complex once, but I didn't answer the buzzer. I didn't respond. Didn't answer. Didn't engage. Then she sent a letter. An actual physical letter, handwritten on nice stationery. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. "Dear Dad," it began. The letter went on for 3 pages. How she was sorry. How she realized she'd made a mistake. How David had stopped calling after the wedding. How he'd promised to have lunch, but kept canceling. How she tried to build a relationship with him, and he kept being too busy with his stepdaughter Olivia, his new wife Stephanie, his company. How she'd realized too late that he'd shown up for the wedding because it made him look good, not because he actually cared. How she'd thrown away 18 years of real love for a fantasy. She ended the letter with, "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I hurt you badly, but you're my real dad. You always were. Biology doesn't change that. Can we talk? Please." I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in a drawer. Jennifer called me a week later. "Did you get Emma's letter?" "Yes." "Are you going to respond?" "I don't know." She's devastated, Michael. She realizes she made a mistake. She wants to fix things. Good for her. You're really going to throw away 18 years because of this? I didn't throw anything away, Jennifer. She did. She chose David. She got what she wanted. Now she gets to live with it. She was confused. She wanted a relationship with her biological father. Is that so wrong? Yes, it is. When it comes at the expense of the person who actually raised her. When it means treating me like I'm disposable. Yes, it's wrong. Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. You know what I think? What? I think you're hurt. I think you're angry. And I think you have every right to be. But I also think you're using that hurt to justify walking away from someone who loves you. Someone who made a mistake, but is trying to fix it. Maybe, I said, or maybe I'm just done being taken for granted. The divorce was finalized 6 months after the wedding. The divorce was quick and surprisingly amicable, given everything. No kids. Emma was an adult, not legally mine anyway. We split assets down the middle. Jennifer kept the house we'd lived in for 15 years. I kept my retirement accounts and my dignity. Emma kept trying to reach out. Letters, calls, emails. She showed up at my office once during my lunch break. My assistant turned her away. I felt guilty about that, but not guilty enough to change my mind. A year after the wedding, she sent another letter. This one was different, more mature, more understanding. Dad, I'm not asking for forgiveness anymore. I'm not asking you to let me back into your life. I just want you to know that I understand now. I understand why you walked away. I understand that what I did was unforgivable. I chose biology over love. I chose a fantasy over reality. I chose wrong. David hasn't spoken to me in 7 months. He got uncomfortable when I kept trying to build a real relationship. Turns out he liked the idea of having a daughter at his wedding, but didn't actually want to do the work of being a father. Shocking, right? Tyler and I are having problems. He thinks I'm too focused on trying to fix things with you. He says I need to move on. Maybe he's right, but I can't move on without you knowing that I'm sorry, that I was wrong, that you were my real father all along. I'm including a check for $45,000. It's taken me a year to save it. I've been working extra freelance projects and living very frugally, but I want to pay you back for the wedding. I know it's not about the money. I know you'd never take it, but I need to do this. I need to show you that I understand the value of what you gave me wasn't just financial. You don't have to cash it. You don't have to respond. I just need you to know that I'm sorry, and that I love you, and that I'll always regret losing you." The check was paper-clipped to the letter. $45,000. Made out to Michael Chen. Signed by Emma Martinez Brooks. She'd hyphenated her name after marriage. I sat with that check for a week. Didn't cash it. Didn't respond. Just kept on my desk, looking at it. My girlfriend, yes, I'd started dating someone new, a woman named Allison Park who had her own kids from a previous marriage and didn't need me to be anything except myself. Asked me what I was going to do. "I don't know," I said. "Do you want to forgive her?" "I don't know. Do you miss her?" I did. I missed Emma every day. Missed the relationship we'd had. Missed being someone's father. Missed the phone calls and the visits and the feeling of being needed. But I also remembered the pain. Remembered being told I wasn't her real father. Remembered being replaced. Remembered sitting in my apartment on her wedding day, alone, while she walked down the aisle with a man who'd done nothing to earn that honor. "It doesn't matter if I miss her," I said. "She made her choice." "People make mistakes," Allison said gently. "That's what being human is. Making mistakes and trying to fix them. My ex-husband and I have had to work through a lot for the sake of our kids. It's not easy, but sometimes relationships are worth fighting for. Some mistakes can't be fixed. Maybe not, but some can be forgiven even if they can't be fixed. There's a difference between reconciliation and forgiveness. You don't have to go back to the way things were, but maybe you can find a new way forward." I thought about that, about forgiveness, about what it meant, about whether I even wanted to forgive, about whether Emma deserved forgiveness or whether I deserved the peace that forgiveness might bring. I still don't know. It's been 2 years since the wedding now. The check is still in my desk drawer, uncashed. Emma's letters come less frequently now, maybe once every few months. She got divorced from Tyler Brooks after 18 months of marriage. Apparently, he got tired of her emotional baggage and her obsession with fixing things with her dad. His words, according to the letter she sent me explaining the divorce. David never came back in her life. After the wedding, he slowly faded away again. Stopped answering her calls. Stopped responding to her texts. Eventually blocked her on social media when she confronted him about his absence. He'd gotten what he wanted, the photo op, the moment of looking like a good father, the ability to tell people at his country club that he walked his daughter down the aisle. He didn't want the actual work of being in her life. Jennifer and I are cordial, but not close. We see each other occasionally at mutual friends' events. She's dating someone now, a doctor she met at work. He seems nice enough. We exchange pleasantries and move on with our lives. And me? I am okay. I have Allison. We've been together for 1.5 years now. Her kids, Nathan, 14, and Sophie, 12, are good kids. I help with homework sometimes, go to Nathan's basketball games, drive Sophie to her art classes. But I'm careful. I don't let myself get too attached. I don't let myself forget that I'm not their real father, that I'm just their mom's boyfriend, that I can be replaced. But sometimes I wonder if I'm being too stubborn, too proud. I wonder if Emma's suffered enough for her mistake. I wonder if I'm doing the right thing by keeping her at a distance. I wonder if 2 years is enough punishment for choosing biology over love. Then I remember that moment, that phone call, my real dad. And I remember that some wounds don't heal just because someone says they're sorry. Some betrayals cut too deep. Some choices can't be undone. Maybe someday I'll cash that check. Maybe someday I'll respond to one of her letters. Maybe someday I'll let her back into my life in some capacity. Maybe we'll have coffee and talk and try to find a new normal. But not today. Today I'm still the man who raised her but wasn't real enough to walk her down the aisle. And that's not something you get over just because it didn't work out the way she planned. She wanted her real dad. She got him, and she lost me in the process. That's not my fault. That's not my responsibility to fix. That's just the consequence of the choice she made. Have you ever been replaced by someone who was never there? Someone in your family chose biology over the person who actually showed up? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the rejection. It's everyone telling you that you should just accept it, that you're being petty for having boundaries. That blood matters more than presence. But does it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you believe that being present matters more than biology, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Because sometimes the person who earns the title is more important than the person who just has the DNA. Hashtag, he's not your real dad.